Hey kids, it's Mr. Fly here, hope you're well. Out and about on another bike review. Very excited today because I'm on quite an unusual machine. Today I'm riding the Fantic Caballero Rally Edition. Now this is a bike that's been around for a little while now. A couple of years I've seen them, well the Rally may not have been, but the Scrambler version has been around for a while and I've been intrigued to ride one. So stick around, stay tuned. This will be my first impressions review. So you join me in the environs of Bury St Edmunds. I borrowed this bike from the very nice people up at Krazy Horse in Bury St Edmunds. If you've never been up there, get yourself up if you can. It's a great place just to visit. Amazing bikes up there. Not just the Fantics, but they're also an Indian dealer and all sorts of other stuff as well. Really nice bunch of people up there and great bikes, and they're all enthusiasts. But the reason I tell you that is because I don't really know the area at all well. So there's a real chance I could get lost. That's all part of the fun, isn't it? Let's head this way. So what are my first impressions of the Caballero, hope I'm pronouncing that right, Scrambler Rally then? Well, I have to say my first impressions just as I walked up to the bike is how amazing it looks. It looks like a motorcycle should look, and the quality of it is absolutely beautiful. In terms of its build, I mean it is a budget bike. It's just over £6 I think. We'll go through the pricing when I talk you through the spec of the bike. But it's not an expensive machine, but there's nowhere on it that looks like it's been skimped on price. So that's the first thing that struck me. And then actually jumping on it and riding it, the thing has got bags of character. And that's in a good way. I mean, it's got a big old thumper on it. It's, I think it's something like 450cc. Single cylinder engine. So it does have that characteristic vibe that these sorts of bikes have. But I have to say, it feels quite smooth to ride actually. Looking at the mirrors, there's no hideous vibrations, anything like that. Actually, that reminds me to adjust that one down slightly. And the ride is really quite comfortable. The seat itself is quite hard. I'm sat nicely upright though. Yeah, it's a very comfortable position. Nice wide handlebars. And in terms of the relationship with my sort of hands, backside and feet, say upright, a bit like I'm in an armchair, arms out the front, my legs are at 90 degrees. It's one of those bikes you could ride all day, although I don't know about that seat, it does feel a little bit hard. Nothing complicated about the bike. It does have ABS of course, which is switchable down here. The switch gear is quite quirky on here. It's a bike that's Italian designed and built. The engine is sourced from China, but do not let that put you off the bike, because it's the same factory that makes stuff for Piaggio and BMW and others. And the engine's got bags of go actually. It's if I just slow down a bit, drop her down a few cogs, let's just try quick. Yeah, she picks up nicely actually. It's one of those bikes that is just great for hacking around these country back roads. Ample power for that. Possibly not something to be going on the motorway with, but these sorts of roads, B roads and A roads, are fantastic. I need to just watch out a little bit where I go here. Let's just see what she's like from a flickability point of view. Actually feels quite planted on the road, it's surprising. It's got big old Michelin Anarchy knobbly tyres on it, and you'd think the handling and the feel might be a bit weird, but they're not making any weird noise on the road. The handling actually is really nice. This rally version of the bike is the slightly sort of up-spec version of the Scrambler, in that it has longer travel suspension, fully adjustable. It really does feel nice actually. There doesn't seem to be any problem with the suspension. Let's just nothing behind me. I'm just going to test the brakes. A little bit of brake or fork dive there, as you'd expect from the long travel suspension, but nothing terrible. And the brakes work fine on the front. Let's just try the back brake. Actually the back brake's very good. Well, I did just notice the ABS cut in there, so it might be that the ABS is relatively rudimentary, but it certainly works fine. Sounds great, this bike. Really, really nice. Let me find somewhere where I can pull over and show you around the bike, and I'll talk you through the spec in the usual way. Turning circle's nice and tight on it. Switch gear looks a bit different to anything I've seen before, and the indicator's got this weird switch that rather than it sliding left and right, it's actually a rocker switch. Like you press it right and you press it left. But that works absolutely fine. It's just different. Nothing wrong with it. The same mirrors work really nicely. Clutch feels nice and light. Brilliant bike for hacking around the corners. It's just a hoot. Right, let's see if this is a spot that can be I can do a walk around. Does this make sense, or am I going to block things? Oh, let's go down here a little way. Looks perfect. Bit Bit of a dusty track ideal for this kind of bike. Right, let me show you around this little beauty then. Let's see what she's like to find neutral. Easy peasy, I'm glad to say. So many bikes are tricky these days, but that's nice and easy to find neutral. Killer. Right, here we go. The Fantic Caballero Scrambler Rally. Better just make sure I've got it properly turned off. We don't want to have a flat battery or anything when I jump back on. But yeah, what a cute looking bike. As I say, it looks like a motorcycle should look, in my mind. It looks great with the knobblies. The high mudguard on the front, the lovely aluminium swing arm. These pipes are absolutely incredible. Anyway, let's not gush too much. Let me get out the other camera and the spec, and I'll talk you around the bike in the usual way. Okay, let's get the other camera rolling. Hopefully you can see that okay. And yeah, what a cracking looking bike she is. So as I say, this is to give it its full name, the Fantic Caballero 500 Rally. Yeah, just a lovely bike. Let me talk you through the spec very quickly on it. As I say, it's a sort of a fairly back to basics bike, so not an awful lot to talk about. But the engine on here, as I mentioned, 450cc single cylinder unit. It's badged Fantic, but it's actually built by Zhongshan in China, as I mentioned before. But this engine actually has been proven in the World Enduro Championships. It recently came second, apparently. So it's a good proven engine, and as I say, it's made in a factory that make Piaggio stuff and BMW stuff as well. So you know, let's not have any of that Chinese rubbish type comments, which I'm sure I'll get loads. Power of the engine, it's about 40 brake horsepower at 7,500 RPM. Feels pretty strong, as I mentioned when I was riding it just now. Torque wise, 32 foot-pounds of torque at 6,000 RPM. Let's have a little look at those brakes that seem to work very well. Single disc on the front, as you can see. It's got one of those wavy discs, and a Bury, so that's the sort of cheaper end of the Brembo range caliper on there. That's a 320mm disc on there with a single pot caliper on the back. I should say it's a single pot caliper, sorry. Bury again, and that's a 230mm disc on there, and that works very well. In terms of suspension on this has got the fully adjustable suspension. Let's see if I can find the little adjuster. Here we go. That's a bit of a work of art in itself. Lovely finish again. Fit and finish on this bike is absolutely beautiful. So yeah, fully adjustable on the Rally. That's one of the differences. The standard Scrambler doesn't have adjustable suspension. Seat height on here sounds quite high, 860mm, but I'm only a shorty at 5'8" with a 32-inch leg, and I can pretty much flat foot it. When you sit on it, the suspension does compress quite nicely, so the seat height is not an issue at all. I thought it might be, but in fact it isn't. The weight of the bike, dry, 150 kilograms, so really, really light bike, and you can feel that in the handling. It just feels completely non-intimidating. Excellent in that respect. The fuel tank on here will carry 12 litres. In terms of electronics, not a great deal. It has got ABS, which is switchable. There's this little button here that you can switch on that, and this groovy little indicator at the top shows you if it's switched on or off. This is that switchgear I was talking about. This is what I mean by being a bit quirky, but it works really well. There's nothing problematic with it, and it feels quality again. In fact, the whole bike just oozes quality. I mean, if you have a look at it, I mean, the front light, this sort of LED affair looks really lovely. Stuff like these forks are beautifully made. It's got carbon fibre touches. Look at this little shield here, looks really nice. Look at this sort of billet aluminium affair, beautifully machined, and a lovely aluminium swing arm on this one as well. And check out the that Arrow dual pipe exhaust on there. It looks absolutely splendid. LED lights all round, nice brown seat. I just think the styling of it is absolutely bang on. Alright, what else to say about it? Dual channel ABS. Oh, price. I said I'd give you the price. This one, it being the top of the range Rally, $6,999 according to the website. The other versions, the Scrambler, slightly less than that. But yeah, great. That's a lot of bike, isn't it, for less than £7,000, or just less than £7,000. Alrighty, let me jump back on then and tell you a bit more about the bike. And the more I look at it, the more details I see on here that are just great. I mean, look at this little rear light on here. Absolutely lovely attention to detail. Even this sort of back end, which often are massive on bikes these days and always call out for tail ties. Even that's done nicely on here. Yeah, really, really like that. And because it's so light and it has those knobbly tyres, you could properly go do some green lanes on this. I mean, this is just a dirt track down here. I don't know where it goes to. We'll just head down here and turn around out of interest and try standing up on her. Alright, so clutch into starter. There we go. Nice little gear lever as well, with a proper machined knurled end on it. It's just, it doesn't feel like a bike that's been built to a price. Okay, well, I'm not going to go properly off-road on the bike, although I'm sure it's more than capable of that. just because I signed a disclaimer to say that if I drop it and break it, I have to pay for it. So I'm not going to go there, so spare me all those comments, oh, you didn't take it off-road. But anyway, here I am. Look, I am on at least a dirt track, which is pretty slippery, but these knobblies are doing fine. Let's just have a stand up on the pegs. Actually feels quite wide between the legs when you're stood up, but completely doable, and because it is so light, again, not intimidating at all if you did want to do the odd green lane. What is down here? Nature reserve, barns, sailing and canoeing. What a lovely spot. Maybe I'll go down a bit further on this dirt road and then I'll turn around. So I must just take this opportunity, oh, squirrel there, must just take this opportunity to thank everybody at Krazy Horse for making me feel so welcome, and in particularly the lovely in every way Steph for sorting out these bike loans for me. As I mentioned, a great setup down there. If you've not been and you're in the area, definitely recommend it to you. Well, it looks like the end of the road as far as that dirt track's concerned. So can I find anything I don't like about the bike? I hate doing these reviews where all I say is good things, because people always say, oh, you're only saying good things because you want to borrow more bikes. That's not the case. I mean, I guess it does feel a bit wide when you stand up between the legs. My legs are slipping around on the tank, finding it hard to grip, but a tank grip would sort that out. But that's only really applies if you're going to go off-road. The ride's nice on it, the handling's nice. Maybe this little LCD dash is a little bit small perhaps to read with my ageing eyes. Oh, I like it a lot. There's really not a lot to not like. Or maybe the seat's a little bit hard, but I've been on worse. Handling's nice, suspension feels nice, and these nice sweepers. It's an absolute hoot to ride. It really is a nice bike. If you're in the market for a proper motorbike that you just want to have fun on, you don't want to get a litre bike, go out and you know, almost kill yourself every time, but just go out and enjoy riding for what it is, then this is a proper honest motorcycle, nicely priced, looks great, oozes style and character. Definitely worth trying one of these out, really like it. Alrighty, that's it for now. Hope that's been of some interest to you, and I look forward to speaking to you again next time. Until then, this has been the Mr. Flyer. Cheerio.